Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with a Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today we're sitting down with Anna Lahey. She's the founder of ingestible beauty brand Vida Glow, and we talk all about how to start a business with your significant other, how to create a new category in beauty, and foster a positive work culture. Listen here. Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with a Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today, I'm so excited to be sitting down with Anna Lahey. She is the founder of Vida Glow, an ingestible beauty brand. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me.
You're here all the way from Sydney, Australia, so I'm so honored to have you.
I'm so jet lagged. Been up since 2 a.m. I'm here. I'm excited.
How long have you been in New York for?
So I arrived 4:30 on Friday.
Okay.
And it took us 2 hours from JFK to get to our hotel with the traffic. And then straight into Fashion Week on the weekend.
Awesome.
And then back-to-back meetings from Monday. I fly to LA on Friday, so I'll be here for 7 nights. And then 9 nights in LA.
Oh my God. Well, making the most out of the US trip. It's far, right?
I love the US. I love Americans, you know, like they're so enthusiastic. Like they're just such friendly. Everyone wants to help you. It's
I feel
just
like
so
Australians
nice.
are really friendly.
You know, I think we probably are as foreigners. I don't know whether Australians in Australia are that friendly. Like, you know, I don't think we don't have the same level of service that Americans do. So it's I love being here.
And I know that you just launched in Neiman Marcus here, right?
Yeah, so we are officially launching in Neiman Marcus on Saturday, the 17th of September.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's very exciting. And we've launched into Bloomingdale's as well, Revolve, Carbon Beauty, Shen Beauty, Amazon. So we've only just launched into the US. In fact, my first trip post-COVID was coming to LA and New York just after Omicron in February. So, yeah.
So very
2022 is our year one in the US.
Wow, but the business has been in business for about 8 years, right?
Yeah, so technically today is our 8th year anniversary, because
Wow.
today is my wedding anniversary.
Oh my God, double congratulations.
And we launched Vida Glow on my wedding day. That was not planned. Everything was delayed. And in the end, we went live on the 13th, which was Saturday, the 13th of September, 2014. My husband spent the entire day on the Shopify app to see if we had any orders. And the lady who bought from us was, the first customer was a woman called Erin Whitehouse, and she still buys from us today.
Oh my God, amazing.
But we've changed the date till like the 19th or something, so that we don't have to celebrate Vida Glow's birthday and my anniversary every year.
So backing up a little bit, can you tell us what was your background? How did you found Vida Glow? I know you work with your husband, similar. I founded the Clear Cut with my husband too, so I'd love to get into that. But give us a little background on the story, the founding story.
So I discovered marine collagen overseas in Japan, and that was in 2012. And I suffered from quite significant hair loss. That was my main beauty concern, but I was there visiting a friend, and what was interesting to me that in Japan, collagen was kind of everywhere. It was in the equivalent of the 7-Eleven or the supermarket. I went to the gym and they asked me whether I wanted a collagen water. I went to a restaurant, they asked whether I wanted my soup infused with collagen, and I thought collagen was Botox, so I was like, sure, you know, I'll have some collagen, and you know, I was interested. People said it's really good for hair, skin and nails. And so on the second last day that I was there, I spoke to the pharmacist who was in her 60s. She had amazing skin, but all Japanese women have amazing skin.
Yeah.
So you take it with a grain of salt. And she explained that collagen supplementation had been around for over 300 years. It was part of their daily diet. Incredible benefits for hair, skin and nails, but lots of secondary benefits for bone health, joint health, osteoporosis. It all just sounded a little bit too good to be true. Mm-hmm. It was in a loose white powder. She said it was a fish powder, which at the time sounded really weird to me because hair, skin and nail supplements that I had been taking were all in a pill format, or a pill or a tablet. And I took enough home to take 3 a day, which you absolutely do not need to take 3 a day. And it sat in the cupboard for weeks until Kieran, who's my husband, who's the CEO, who was my boyfriend at the time, shouted out from the shower, "Anna, can you get me the knife? Your hair's clogging up the shower again." And I thought, I better start taking that collagen. And I did start with 3 a day because I'm a good student and that's what she told me to do. And it was really my visible, tangible results that I saw from taking a collagen supplement that I had never heard of before that sparked the idea of starting Vida Glow. And I must have been taking it for 4 to 5 months before, you know, Instagram had just started at the time. New brands were popping up, like Instagram brands were popping up. And I thought, you know, Kieran and I kept saying, you know, what could we do when we get married and have kids on the side? I laugh now because I work 365 days a year. And I was born in Brazil. So I thought, maybe I could bring in, like, I was really into yoga. So maybe it could be like a Brazilian activewear line or a Brazilian bikini line or something like that. And one day it was Kieran who, you know, basically pulled the collagen out of the cupboard and was like, what about this shit that you import in from Japan and it cost a fortune on the credit card every day and you were telling the waiter at the restaurant about it and you gift it to everybody? And I was like, well, I don't know anything about collagen. And he was like, well, don't you think you should because you take it every day? And I was like, yeah, good point. And being at uni for 6 years taught me how to research. That's something I'm quite good at. And I really became obsessed. I sort of started researching and I didn't stop for about 9 months. And I really treated it like a university assignment in that I bought the textbooks and I referenced everything like I would an essay. And really I found this incredible product, which at the time, this was 2013, was not the beauty buzzword that it is today. There was no other brand in the West that had a collagen brand. There were a lot of Asian brands, obviously, because it was popular in the Asian market, but there was nothing else like it. And we launched on the 13th of September and with one product, which was our original marine collagen. We now have 7 flavors. And today that product, our collagen, sells 1 unit every 4 seconds around the world.
Wow.
We're the #1 marine collagen brand in the world, and my goal is to be in world leaders in ingestible beauty. And I know that that's a very ambitious goal, but I think it's one we can achieve. And for me, the focus going forward is, even though we started as a collagen brand, today, and I'm sure we'll go into this, is, you know, we really are an ingestible beauty brand. So we have a lot of other targeted products outside of collagen.
Was there like one pivotal moment when you were shaping your brand or coming up with the business that was like your aha moment?
I think there were so many. I think for me, what was really exciting, we launched day one on Shopify direct, you know, online. And in those early days, social media and influencers worked really different. You could basically send products to anyone and they would post it for free.
Yeah.
And so we were able to grow in a really quickly at the very beginning. And then I think once the shopping app nature of Instagram sort of started, you know, we really realized that we didn't want to be pigeonholed into an Instagram brand, because at the time, maybe this was by 2016, a lot of those Instagram brands started failing. And we really wanted to go into wholesale and be in bricks and mortar. And, you know, most of them said no at the time, because ingestible beauty wasn't even a category, I mean, at all.
And now it's so big.
It's worth $217 billion. And collagen alone is set to be worth $6.5 billion by 2025. So I think a real pivotal moment for me was when, you know, retailers, and we started in Australia, being an Australian brand, but, you know, key retailers, and the first key retailer that took a chance on us was a leading department store called Maya. And that was for me like, wow, you know, and that was in 2017. And we also entered the Chinese market at that time, which is today our biggest market.
Wow. Even with the other competing Asian ingestibles?
Yeah, by far. So China is our largest market. I mean, pre-pandemic, I used to fly to China every couple of weeks. But it still is, even with the lockdown laws and the state of the Chinese economy at the moment, it's still our leading market. So, and probably because they understand ingestibles a lot more. And we focused on China for such a long time before. I mean, we only really moved. Today we're available in 50 markets, but we moved and we started our push into the UK and Europe really at the beginning of the pandemic, because it took us so long to really understand the Chinese market, and that really allowed us to have the revenue to expand.
Totally. And you started the business from the get-go with your boyfriend at the time, who's now your husband. Did you ever have like any hesitation starting a business with your partner? And what's it been like?
Good question. I probably did, because but I mean, Kieran and I met and we were engaged after 3 months, which is crazy. And then we were married 18 months after we met. So I get asked this a lot. What is it like working with your husband? And I think, I don't know any different. Right? Because we work together, we travel together. I mean, he's here with me now. We raise children together. There's not a lot of space in our togetherness. And I think it was harder in the beginning when it was just me and him, because we have very different skill sets, Kieran and I. And there was a lot of, oh yeah, but what do you think about that? Or did you really think that was the right way to? Whereas now there's 60 people in our North Sydney office. We have a growing team in Europe, in China, in the UK. So we really have our defined roles, and we do overlap a little bit in sales. I mean, I really like to focus on marketing and creative and product innovation. I'm the face and founder of the brand. He's the CEO, so he does all the stuff that I don't want to do, like logistics and finance and quality control and those kinds of things. So these days it's actually easier. But in short, I just don't think I know any different. That's all I know, is working with him. And my career beforehand, I mean, I started this business 6 months after I finished university. So it's the only really career that I know.
And you mentioned that you have kids too. How do you balance the separation between work life and home life and being a full-time founder and a mother?
That's a really difficult thing to answer. I don't really I think balance is bullshit, you know? I mean, people are always like, balance. I'm like, where do people find this balance? I think, again, my kids they're all in Sydney now. They're 5, 3 and 2. I'm pregnant with our 4th child.
Oh my God, congratulations.
So I had 3 kids under 3, which was nuts. And my daughter was born in a pandemic right at the start of COVID, which was kind of nice for me because the first 2 babies I lugged around the world. Until I stopped breastfeeding, I took them everywhere with me. So I got out, and I don't recommend any woman does this, by the way, but I got out of the hospital. I drove straight to birth desk and marriages so I could get his birth certificate fastened so that I could go and get his passport so that at 3 weeks old I could take him to China. And then he went, I lugged babies around all over the world, pregnant whilst working. I went to China when I was 35 weeks pregnant. When it's your own business, I think now I have in policy one of the best maternity leave policies in Australia that's available for Australian companies, because I never want any, and I hire 92% females in my business. I never want any of the women that work for me to do what I did. But when it's your own business and it's your own passion, and there was no other option, this had to work. The hustle is real and the work is hard, and for every success, and everything looks so lovely and shiny and curated on social media, but the reality of it behind the scenes is really tough at times. So you have to have a supportive partner, which I do, and I have family, which is really helpful. I have nannies, and I'm really honest about that. We can't do it all, and I think you have to ask for help. You have to accept help. And sometimes it's hard. I mean, my kids are grown up with me working, so they're pretty, when I left for this trip, I told them for 2 weeks I was going to New York, and they don't know what New York is, but they're like, and so they waved me goodbye, and there weren't too many tears, but you miss things. Like there's an event happening on Wednesday at school and I'm not going to be there, and there's a birthday party on Saturday and I'm not going to be there. So it's not always easy. It's quite sometimes it's quite hard. I've been in a hotel room overseas once, and my dad thought it was cute to send me a video of my son crying at the door, calling for mummy. And I got the lamp that was in the hotel bedside and I threw it across the room and it smashed. So, mum guilt is a bitch. Yeah. And it doesn't go away. But I just sort of have to think everything I do is for them.
That's amazing. What are some pieces of advice you can give for building a good culture in your team?
You have to foster relationships. Kieran and I have I've been given advice by other women in business to have more distance between you and your team, to separate yourself more. I'm not good at doing that. I know a lot about what's going in the personal lives of my team. We have an open door policy. People can come and talk to us. I do get invested in their personal lives. I can't help it. But I think that when you you have to foster the relationships. People want to work for you and they want to do a good job for you if they respect you, if they like you, if they feel that they can be honest with you, if you can give each other feedback. You know, I hate the term constructive criticism because criticism is never constructive. People don't like to be criticized. I don't like to be criticized. Nobody does, you know, but finding out finding out what people's strengths are and helping them work to their strengths and not their weaknesses, because then they feel inadequate, you know. We have a lot of things, like we have a yoga gym in our office. We have morning teas all the time. We have town halls. We have customer surveys. Like when I get back, a week after I get back, we are going to the Hunter Valley, which is about a 2-hour drive from Sydney, to a hotel there where we're doing a 2-day team building thing. We have, you know, good Christmas parties. We celebrate everybody's birthday. Every month we have cupcakes and things for people's birthdays. We have Friday night drinks. Once a month we have an award and recognition system where other employees can nominate an employee that for the month, and then that month they win a bottle of sparkles, and then they go into the draw for the Christmas winning employee of the year. Like, so, and we had reflexology for Women's Health Week in Australia last week. So
that sounds great.
Yeah, you have to do a lot, basically.
Yeah.
And we have our HR department is called People and Culture Department, and we have 3 people that work in that department, and that's their role really, to making sure that people are happy. And if people are happy, they're going to have better productivity, better outcomes. So it's a never-ending journey, and it's one of the toughest things is managing people in your business, but it's one of the most important things.
And I think it's tough, at least, like your business now is pretty robust. You have a huge team. But in those early days when it was like a startup and a little bit more gritty, were there any things if you like couldn't offer like reflexology or yoga?
Yeah, we couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Claire Butler, who still works for us today, she's my very first employee, and I interviewed her in a coffee shop in Darlinghurst. And before I interviewed her, I was 24. I Googled, what do you ask in interview questions? And like I look at, we have a laugh about it now, but it's like, the shit we did, you know, like it was like she didn't even have a title. She just did everything. Like we did everything between answering customer service questions, cleaning the office, cleaning the bathroom, packing boxes, doing customer service. I mean, now it's all feels like a proper workplace, you know, but in the beginning there was just a lot of rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty, and, you know, and she's still with us, our very first employee. So yeah, and you know what? And not everyone is going to suit your business. Vida Glow is very fast-paced. Like a week at Vida Glow is like a month anywhere else. Yeah. And that's okay. And people are going to leave your business, and that's also okay. And sometimes it's for the best for us. Sometimes it's for the best for them. Sometimes it's mutually agreeable. You know, yeah, it takes time to get to the position where Vida Glow is now having reflexology. Like that certainly wasn't offered in the beginning. But as I've grown and have more experience in being a business owner and managing a team, I cannot stress the importance of cultivating a healthy workplace culture.
Yeah, definitely. What were some mistakes that you made early on that you can look back on and have learned something from?
I don't know where to start. I've made so many mistakes. Look, there's so many. You know, when we started, we were complete rookies. We had one product. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't have a product architecture. We brought out products that didn't suit the branding. We made mistakes with understanding what the consumers wanted. Like now we're very concern-led when we look at new product development and innovation. You know, we've had this beautiful rebrand. So we have this beautiful new packaging, but in the beginning we did it all ourselves, and I look at the old packaging and I cringe, but one day I'll probably have it framed in my house. You know, hiring too fast, firing too slow, you know, not having clear processes with manufacturers, bringing new products to market that didn't really suit. I mean, there's so many mistakes that we made. But the good thing about making mistakes is that if you're smart, you don't make the same mistake twice.
Right.
So making mistakes is part of the journey, and it's a really good way to learn.
Hey everyone, Olivia here. Hope you're enjoying our episode. Our Clear Cut collection features fine jewelry pieces inspired and designed with you in mind. Our collection is ever-changing, and each piece is handmade and made to order here in New York City. Don't forget to check it out and use the code COZY, COZY, for free shipping on any purchase. Can you first tell us what ingestible beauty is?
So ingestible beauty is really looking at beauty concerns from within. So whereas a topical will treat, for example, if you're looking at a topical that treats pigmentation, right? You're looking at something that's treating the area via a topical, via a serum, a brightening serum, for example. Mm-hmm. So we have a pigmentation product called Radiance, which we launched in September last year. Today, that product sells 1 unit every 30 seconds. It's a hugely successful product, and it comes in a cellulose vegan capsule. All our products are vegan except for the collagen, and that is a targeted slow release. So it's got a sensitive active called Skinax 2, which is a blend of melon extract and grapeseed oil, and then that is for a small release in the small intestines, and that works on inhibiting the overdevelopment of melanin. We did the clinical study for that product in Mauritius, and that was a 3-month study where women have more hyperpigmented or pigmented skin, and it's really looking at treating a common beauty concern like pigmentation from within as opposed to a topical. And what's great about ingestibles is that it has a systemic effect. So whether you have pigmentation on your face, or whether you have it on the back of your hands, or whether you have it on your chest, it's treating pigmentation everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we always like to say that, ingestibles take skincare 97% deeper, because we know that topicals are so important. I mean, I love topicals. I'm the most avid ingestible beauty user, but I still use the topicals every day. But ingestibles work on the other 97% of the skin, so the deeper dermal layers of the skin, and really treating skin concerns from within.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, it is fairly new, and a lot of people are just learning about it. How do you decide what other products to launch?
We really concern-led. I mean, sometimes we get really excited because we find an exciting, our quality or innovation team find an exciting new ingredient, then we kind of run with that, but predominantly concern-led. So Radiance was the concern of pigmentation. Hairology was the concern of hair loss and hair thinning. Anti-geox was, inflammatory skin conditions like acne, rosacea, and what we call extrinsic aging factors, which are the premature accelerators. So, mm-hmm. Sun damage, lack of sleep, poor diets. So we really look at what is the consumer concern. We're launching a product in November that is specifically for acne. And you have to remember that each product takes about 2 years to develop. Once mm-hmm. we find the ingredients, once we find the manufacturer, once we do all of the formulations, and then the lengthy clinical trials, and then making sure that the ingredients are stable and the shelf life is there. And it takes about 2 years to bring a product to market. And not all products come to market. Like, we have an exciting product that we were hoping to launch, but after the clinical trials, the results didn't stack up. So
that's
didn't go ahead with it. Yeah, it's always disappointing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, if the products don't work, you don't get repeat customers, and you lose all credibility.
Totally. Do you have any advice for like a young woman who might want to start her own business? Like, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
I would say that there's probably 3.
Okay.
Number 1 is don't be afraid to fail. I think a lot of people don't get started because they're so afraid to fail, and that fear of taking a risk can be really crippling. Number 2 is that don't get too worried about the whole, what it's all going to look like in the end. Just start, one foot in front of the other. What's that old quote that says, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Mm-hmm. Sometimes taking the first step is the hardest part. Mm-hmm. And then for young women in particular, because I started my business as a young woman, and maybe this comes with experience, is learning to not be so impressionable, is something that I've had to learn to do, because there's been so many times when I'm like, oh, but that person is in this role, or that person's an editor of that, or you get so impressionable by other people, but actually no one else has started this business and no one else has done this except for me. And that sort of unwavering self-belief is difficult to foster.
It is. But I think it's so important to, if you believe in something, to kind of just like really have that confidence and not let, you're going to get knocked down. Like you mentioned, when you are paving the way in like a whole new category, people may not believe that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And that can be like challenging for anyone to make that first step.
Yeah.
Switching topics a little bit, because we like to talk about jewelry because we're a jewelry company.
Yeah, I love jewelry.
We think that jewelry specifically, you know, can hold special meaning and like sentimental value. Do you have any special pieces that you love to wear that have any particular emotional?
Well, first of all, I was looking at your engagement ring.
Oh, thank you.
And I realized that I'm not wearing my engagement ring. And the reason I'm not wearing my engagement ring was because I was coming to meet you. So I took my little cleaning pen out that I have and I cleaned it under the water, and then I blow dried it, because that's what I do. It's like I wash my diamonds and then I blow dried them. And then once I blow dried it, I left it there and left the house without it. So that's a bit sad. But probably the most special pieces are, I have this custom-made bee ring.
So pretty.
And matching bee earrings. My daughter, so I have an Edward, a Henry, and a Beatrice. And Edward we call Teddy, and Henry, and then Bee. And because I had 2 boys and then I had a girl, my husband gifted me my bee ring and bee earrings. And I really do love them.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mix and match my jewelry all the time. I always change. Yesterday I was in gold hoops like you're wearing with like a gold snake necklace. It kind of just depends on my mood, you know?
Amazing. I love that. And how did he propose to you?
At home, in the bedroom. We were like watching a movie in bed, and then the movie ended and he was like, I think we should get married. He wasn't on one knee. He didn't have a ring. It wasn't super romantic, but it was, yeah. That's
and
kind
so
of
you
sums
picked out
up.
your own engagement ring after?
Well, I've had an upgrade.
Oh, nice.
Which is nice. But the original ring was a round, brilliant cut diamond on a gold setting, which I've now made into a pendant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And now I have a radiant cut with baguette sides.
Amazing. Yeah. And then I love jewelry because you can always pass it down to be one day.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
What is your biggest inspiration?
At the moment, it's the Queen because I'm a diehard monarchist, and you know, sometimes I think being pregnant and having 3 young kids and just the nature of how fast my business is, I've got here and I was so jet lagged and I had such a busy weekend and week, and I said to my husband, I was like, listen, if the Queen can work 2 days before she dies and she's 96 years old, what's my excuse? So it really depends. But I am super inspired by strong women in history. So I think, you know, the Queen is definitely someone that I think has made remarkable progress as a woman in the 70 years and 214 days that she reigned. Maya Angelou, Oprah, athletes. I think athletes are phenomenal, like Serena Williams. I was so emotional when she announced her retirement. What a woman. And then travel. I'm so inspired when I travel, when I meet new people, when I go to new cities, when I have new experiences, and I'm grateful that I travel a lot, like 5 to 6 months of the year, but I get a lot of energy from different cities and different environments.
Amazing. So where can we follow along with the Vida Glow journey?
So you can follow Vida Glow on Instagram and TikTok and social media at Vida Glow. And then I'm Anna Lahey, and that's Lahey, and you can purchase our product in the retailers that I spoke of earlier, online, Revolve, Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Amazon, and some really new exciting retailers that are launching in the US as well, but I can't give too much away.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. We loved having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was such a fun conversation. I really appreciate how candid Anna was describing how she started her business and how she continues to scale and grow while she still has a family. I'm definitely going to take advice from her as we continue to grow the Clear Cut. What advice did you guys take from our conversation?